Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Haz, and this is the channel Higher Sense. I'm going to be doing some fragrance reviews from here on in, which I hope you'll enjoy. And today's review is going to be a fragrance which inspired my logo, and that's none other than Hypnotising Fire by the Harmonist. The notes are pimento and clove with pepper tree in the top. In the mid, there's patchouli, Bulgarian rose, and praline. And in the base, there is vanilla, opoponax, and benzoin. I'd describe this fragrance as an oriental floral fragrance, which was released in 2016. I haven't tested this fragrance for quite some time, so I'm quite eager and excited to test the scent again. So I'm going to remove the lid. Pretty standard atomizer on this bottle. The cap is quite nice. Quite weighty, it's non-magnetic. And the atomizer sprays like this. It is pressure sensitive, so the harder you press it, the bigger the cloud of fragrance that you'll get. And it gives quite a scent bubble, to be fair. Smelling the fragrance, yes, it reminds us of why I purchased this. I would describe this fragrance as a strong fragrance, and you can definitely smell the spices up top. Certainly you get quite a kick from the pimento. The cloves are quite apparent, but I would say again, it's an oriental floral with some spice in the top. That's certainly what I get hit with initially. Moving through into the mid, you can definitely detect the rose. The rose is one of my favourite roses, which is Bulgarian rose. I really do enjoy that in the fragrance. It's also coupled with praline, which does add some sweetness to the fragrance and lightens it up a bit. And also the patchouli, which is listed as being in the mid, I would say is certainly one of the heavier notes and gives a very earthy and dark, slightly damp feel to the fragrance, but that's well balanced out by the top notes. But what I would say is, if you do like a fragrance which is light and airy, this one may just be a bit too heavy. It does carry quite a punch. Going through to the base notes, which do take quite a significant period of time to go through, such as the longevity and the strength of this fragrance. In the base, it's listed as vanilla, which definitely adds some sweetness, slight creaminess to the fragrance. Otherwise, it would just be too heavy and too dense. So you need that vanilla to cut through the fragrance. There's also a opoponax, which again adds quite a spicy undertone that adds to the overall floral feel of the fragrance. Although I would say it is spice heavy and not floral. There is florals in there, but what I'm saying is it's not floral dominant, so it doesn't lead feminine whatsoever. I would say it's a very masculine fragrance. The benzoin in the base, again, just adds an ambery, warm feel to the fragrance, adds a bit of that oriental spicy feel, bit of Middle Eastern touch on there. But all in all, I would say that the listed notes come together very well, and they do move through the top to the mid to the base. It moves through very smoothly. There's no jagged edges to these notes. I think it's been blended very, very well, and I think that the Harmonist have done a great job, and the perfumer certainly has earned his money on this fragrance. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's very strong. It projects very well. I would say it projects at least an arm's length. I would say in feet it easily projects 3 or 4 feet. I would go light on the sprayer. The sprayer is very good, very effective. I would say maybe, and I'm quite a heavy sprayer, because if I'm wearing a fragrance, then I want to wear it. I want it to be apparent, and I want other people to be able to smell the fragrance and enjoy it, hopefully as much as I enjoy it. So yes, I would say projection easily 3 to 4 feet at 3 or 4 sprays, and the longevity on this is equally as impressive. I would say on skin, you would get anywhere between 8, maybe 10 hours of longevity. I would say it projects well for the first couple of hours, and it moves closer to the skin. It'll still project maybe a foot, half a foot for the next 2 hours. Then at the 4 hour mark, that's when it'll sit slightly closer to the skin. But it is a strong fragrance, so you certainly won't feel to be noticed. I would say, so far as notes go, I would say the top notes last for maybe an hour before it moves into the mid. The mid comes in and just adds more volume, more all-roundedness really to the fragrance, and again moves it towards that oriental floral and away from the top heavy spicy note. But it is very smooth, and I would say the base comes in anywhere from, I would say, 4 to 5 hours, and then you get a lovely movement through all of the notes from the top to the bottom, and all of them are very much apparent in the fragrance. Nothing really dies off, so to speak, and the transition really is wonderful. And I would say that this fragrance is definitely worth the price point. My bottle is 50 ml. I believe it only comes in the 50 ml size, and it is a Parfum concentration. Parfum being pure Parfum. Obviously, you get the eau de toilette, eau de parfum, Parfum, then extracts. And certainly I would say the Parfum concentration is appropriate for this fragrance. It's listed generally at around £250 retail, which for 50 ml would work out at £5 per ml. I would say that that's a fair reflection on the quality of the fragrance. You're getting a fragrance which projects well. It lasts very well. There's quality ingredients in there, and it's blended very, very well. And I would say for the price point, it's a fair reflection on the quality of the fragrance. And I would certainly recommend it at that price point. I do think that the name Hypnotising Fire is very appropriate for this fragrance, because I do believe it's very hypnotic and it is powerful. And certainly if you want to get others' attention and potentially put them in a trance, then this would be the fragrance to do it with. It is excellent.